'cause it's a starlight, starlight night. That's what it was originally, and I watched it unfold where Quincy and Michael were in the room, and there was the feeling that he needed something a little more ambitious.
I wasn't that scared. I was scared.
Quincy and Michael started feeding, you know, about, yeah, what would it be if it was like a thriller, like a scary movie, and what, you know, we could get Vincent Price. Boddicker, do you have a wolf sound? And I put up a woo!
およそ15分にも及ぶこのビデオのためにマイケルは$100万もの自費を投入したと噂された。スリラーはミュージックビデオの存在意義を一変させる。単なる PV ではなく短編映画の形をとったこの作品はポップミュージック産業に革命を起こす。マイケルはホラー映画の鬼才ジョン・ランディスを起用。映画監督がミュージックビデオを撮ったのはこれが初めてだった。
Very easy, watch this. Go ahead.
スリラーのメイキングビデオは歴代1位の売り上げを記録。アルバムはグラミー賞7部門を受賞し1年間アルバムチャートのトップ10に入り37週にわたってチャート1位となった。
I don't think anything will ever beat it. I think, you know, you're looking at an album that will stand in perpetuity as the greatest selling album of all time.
これまでにスリラーは世界で6000万枚以上が売れ、ダントツで史上最高のベストセラーアルバムとなっている。
Nobody ever gives him the credit he deserves. He was a phenomenon. None of us are ever going to achieve those sales. He was the only one that could. He did it. He became the king of pop.
マイケルは歴代最高のレコーディングアーティストとなった。彼の次なる目標は最高のステージを世界に披露することだった。
It worked. Somehow he pulled it off, and it was the most amazing ending to a show I have ever seen.
1983年、スリラーの成功により人気が沸騰する中、モータウン創立25周年記念のコンサートにおいてビリー・ジーンのソロパフォーマンスが初めて披露され、4700万人の視聴者がその姿に熱狂。彼の人気は空前のものとなった。
I'll probably remember that moment to the day I die. The place was full of, you know, ex-Motown stars, and they just went balmy when he did that backwards walk. I mean, it was just a magical moment in time.
It became the seminal moment of his television career. That night, he crossed over into a whole new audience.
The moonwalk was a dance that the kids were doing on the streets. And Michael came along later, and he had a guy by the name of Jeffrey Daniels to teach him to do the moonwalk. And Jeffrey taught him to do the moonwalk, and he was good at it. And when he did it, everybody saw it and just thought this was the most wonderful thing they had ever seen, not really knowing it was a dance that was already out there.
The backslide is actually supposed to be like if you were to be walking forward, and suddenly you're on an escalator, and as you're walking forward, this escalator is now pulling you backwards as you're continuing to walk forward. That's the illusion of the backslide. And the moonwalk is that you're actually walking, but the ground is pulling you back. And if you can do it with that illusion, then you're doing it more or less looking like you're pulling yourself back, like your legs are tugging you back. It's not supposed to look that way.
この時期からマイケルは歌だけでなくステージパフォーマンスでも名を馳せるようになった。
I remember I saw him in Japan during the history tour. I mean, he shot up from the bottom of the stage and landed on the stage and just stood there. And people are crying and screaming and he hasn't even moved yet. He hasn't even moved and they're crying and screaming. He reaches up for his sunglasses, and the screen goes up to another pitch. He slowly takes his glasses off. The screen goes to a higher pitch. He tucks them away and stands for a while longer. By the time the music starts, the audience is pretty much exhausted, and he hasn't even done nothing yet.
He was just unbelievable as a performer. You could look up to the last row in the stadium and see people standing up and screaming and waving, and you just knew he was connecting in a way that you just don't see in entertainment. And you know, but when you're talking up to 70,000 people in a stadium and you're communicating one-on-one, and that person in the stadium believes that Michael is talking to him or to her, not to just this mass, you know, that's where the magic comes with Michael Jackson.
When you are doing the very best you can do at that particular moment with a lot of people watching and that kind of pressure that not many people understand is on you, every second has to be in the moment. You don't have time for the regrets of the past or the fear of the future. You are there. It's right now. It's when I move my head like this, when I do this, when somebody looks, you know, it's there. It's when the music is going like that and you go. You know, you just go there.
I see him so into the moment and so into what's going on, so into that communication thing with his fans, and just that's where I see Michael Jackson alive and happy.
1984年、マイケルは兄弟と共にペプシと契約を交わし、3年間にわたりペプシがツアーのスポンサーとなることが決まる。しかしコマーシャルの撮影中にマイケルの髪の毛に火がつき、頭部に火傷を負った彼は病院に運ばれた。ほどなくして彼はツアーに戻るが、この頃から悲劇とスキャンダルにつきまとわれるようになる。1987年にバッドを発表。これはマイケルがクインシー・ジョーンズと組んだ最後のアルバムとなった。7月のイギリスツアーはウェンブリーでの5日間の公演がソールドアウトとなり、ポップ界のバッドボーイを見るためにファンが会場に詰めかけた。このアルバムは発売1週目にイギリスで売れた全レコードの4分の1を占める売り上げを記録し、セールスは2000万枚に達したが、批評家はスリラーほどの称賛を与えなかった。
By the third record, then he had a studio alongside the room that Quincy was working in, and he was putting his own ideas on tape. And then what do I want to say? His confidence in his ideas was expanding incredibly, and his need, his desire to put them out and have them heard.
マイケルの音楽に対するアイデアが急速に拡大していくのに伴い、ライブでの彼のプランも手が込んで費用がかかるものになっていく。
And you know, we created the biggest tour ever that will probably never ever be surpassed, and that all came from Michael's vision.